whole, there are really like three things which I think has been driving for the better. One is the U.S. economic numbers is turning better. If you look at the employment growth, the sales number, the auto sales number, that has been turning somewhat better. Now you have the non-farm payroll coming out tonight, and we'll see how strong that number is. At the same time, you also see wage increase to a certain extent. Not as strong as one would hope, but certainly it has seen the bottom and is on the verge to go up. The other thing which I think has been positive for the market in general has been the policy by the ECB. And they have been very relaxed in terms of monetary policy, which has helped to avoid the potential breakup of the ECB. And I think the third thing which has changed in the margin has been positive, has been the recent rise on the oil prices. Certainly over the last 18 months or so, you saw oil prices went from like $100 to as low as $25. And that has helped the transfer of income from the corporate to the end consumers. So as oil prices come down, people actually enjoy the benefit of the reduction in oil prices, and that has led to a rise in consumption. So those are the three, I think, the positive variables on the economic front, which I think markets should see it as positive. On the other hand, there are a number of issues that I think is kind of emerging or has emerged to a certain extent that has made the market a little bit worried. The number one issue has been like the China story. Is China going to go through a hard landing? Is it an L-shaped recovery? The debt situation in China. How is that going to lead into? China is increasingly a very important market that we should not ignore. It's the second largest economy in the world. So there's been a number of question marks over the last 18 to 24 months as China is starting to slow down. And then the second thing I think which is also emerging is what I call the populist policies. The potential of the Brexit, the election in the U.S., whether it's going to be Clinton, whether it's going to be Trump. I think that increased a little bit of uncertainty for the market to digest. And then the third element on this populist politics is the development even in Germany, where you have a new political party that is becoming more popular within the country, the Alternative Germany Party. They are going to have their local election towards at the middle of next year. So that would also raise a number of uncertainties from the political front as opposed to the economics front for the market to be concerned about. And then the last element is the potential rate hike in the U.S. and what does it mean to the USD and what does it mean to Asia. That also have an element of uncertainty that actually been injected into the market. So you have like three positive and three negatives that the investor need to be most concerned about.
Okay, there's a lot of factors.
Correct. A lot of things to worry about. And
a lot. But then if you weigh the three positive thing and three negative thing, which is more right now?
I tend to favor the more positive side of the market. I think market, if you look at the performance of global market, of Asian markets, Japanese market, European markets on the equity side, there's been a lot of volatility. And the return has been pretty minuscule. And people are concerned on volatility because they are concerned about are they going to rate hike or are they going to reduce rates?
So what
are they going to increase their physical measures or are they going to reduce the physical measures? So a lot has been depending on what the policymaker is going to make out of that policy. So if you like, it's very binary. It's yes or no, yes or no. So investor has been deal with this sort of uncertainty in the past 24 months, and that's why the market has been so volatile. People have been questioning about the credibility of the central banks. Can they do it? Can reducing interest rate be strong enough to revive the economy? In some part like Japan, Europe has not been the case.
Okay.
And then investors have been generally asking, well, if that's not the case, then how about fiscal measures? Can the government do more pump priming, do more infrastructure build out? Certainly you're not seeing that in Japan, you're not seeing that in Europe, you're not seeing that in the US for their own reasons. In China, you're seeing some of that happening. Certainly in Thailand over here and some part of Indonesia and India. So people, investor in general has been dealing with that sort of uncertainty. So net, I would say that the global growth now has now stabilized. It's on the verge of actually going up.
So the investor kind of getting used to the volatility.
They're used to the volatility, but at the outcome of all this volatility, we are seeing some green shoots, coming out now. Small elements of growth. You've seen a lot of fiscal policy coming out from China towards the second half of last year, first quarter of this year. That has stabilized the growth. So remember 24 months ago, people talk about is China is going to go at 3% as opposed to 6.5%. Is China is going to go through a hard landing scenario as opposed to be a soft landing scenario.
Okay.
So there was a lot of concern and more concern on China. But now that has stabilized. The concern on China has basically stabilized. The people has been concerned about the outflow of Chinese renminbi going into the rest of the world.
Yes.
So there's been concern about foreign reserve been coming down. Now that has kind of like petered out now. So the foreign reserve at the moment is now sitting on 3.3 trillion US dollar. That actually now stabilized at that level. So that uncertainty seems to have been removed.